to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk. And this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program. And as you can see, I have a guest. A guest that is really neat because normally I am her guest. So, Tara, why don't you tell the Vaynerchuks out there who you are, what you do, and what you're doing here?
Well, first of all, I am so psyched to be here.
Thank you.
And I have to tell you that I was a little nervous. I've never watched the Jet game with such the same fervor, really, because I'm like, oh, the mood he's going to be in today will
if we
all
lost the
be
Chiefs
dependent.
yesterday, it would have been... I just would have been in a very bad place. Really, I would have been in a bad place.
So I was on WCBSTV.com, where I work, and I was following the game, and was I...
Sigh of relief.
Relieved. I was relieved, because I knew your mood would be...
Totally shot.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is I
Killed.
might have not even been here. It was that bad of a loss if they lost to Herman Edwards and the Chiefs. So I'm glad they won.
Especially Herman Edwards. No, we
Hate
can't
Herm.
do that.
Hate Herm. So we've done some stuff for...
I know. Yeah, this is really a little awkward for me because I'm used to
Roller
taking control.
Yep. Today I'm taking control.
You may not know this, but there's another place other than Wine Library TV that you can be seen on the internet, and that is at WCBSTV.com. It's called Sitting Down and Chatting, Drinking Wine with Gary Vaynerchuk. And if you go to the food section, we've gotten together quite a few times, and we're going to be getting together quite a few times, I believe 5 times before the end of the year. And you can check us out. We've gone out to restaurants and tried wine together. You've come into our studios. And today, I've actually...
Came to the store and we taped.
I came here. I am so psyched. This is my first time here.
CBS was a natural fit. Home of the Jets, home of me. Felt good to me. You grew up in the dirty, dirty South, right? You're a Texas girl? Or where?
No, I
Georgia?
grew up in Long Island.
But you spent time in the South.
New Orleans,
New
baby.
Orleans, that's it. I
New
remember
Orleans, baby, yeah.
So, an island girl, so that makes you a natural Jets fan.
Of course.
Of course. So
my dad used to have tickets when they were at Shea.
Yep. Love her. Okay, you and Matt were downstairs while we were doing some other stuff up here, and I said, Matt, let Tara put together the show, and this is what you've done. So you've decided to go 3 off-whites. Tell the Vaynerchuks out there your wine drinking history, what kind of wine drinker you are, how serious, how not serious you are, and why you chose these wines.
Well, I don't know what kind of wine drinker I am, really. I mean, I love wine, but I don't have.
You
a
love
lot
to
of
get
wine.
tipsy on it, or you just love the romance?
Sometimes,
I respect that.
I mean, not
That's
all
why
the
Mach
time,
drinks
but I mean, sometimes I, will have a couple of glasses, and sometimes it's really just about trying different wines to.
How often do you drink wine?
Well, I probably have a glass of wine every night, and other than that, on the weekends, I will try something new with dinner or...
And I recall when we met that you were a big fan of Cabernet.
Yes.
And you still are?
I am, but, you've really...
Opened the door.
Oh, totally.
And so these wines you picked, which are really nerdy. I mean, I know Matt probably helped you. Offbeat white wines.
Well, yes, because we've met before, and you know that I'm totally into Sancerres and Sauv Blancs. And you kind of expanded my palate a little bit. So, now I try more Arnaces, and I've really just gotten away from Chardonnay. I've really just, started to try new things. And I wanted white wines that were really off the beaten paths.
So that's what we're doing for the Vaynerchuks today. So here we go with the first wine. Very simple little package from Spain. The Barbadillo. It is a 75% Palomino, 25% Verdejo blend. It is a $9 wine. A lot of people in our store call it the fish wine because so many people enjoy this with a little bit of fish. Very crisp, very light white wine. Verdejo is a grape we've talked a lot about in the past. Palomino is not. We'll be doing a Palomino show in the future. Just another crisp, clean white wine grape varietal from Spain. $9, very... 9 bones.
See, that's important to me because I do like to try different wines, but I don't have a huge budget to do it.
Sure. I mean, quality price ratio is imperative, and that's the thing with wine. I mean, at the end of the day, there's so much wine out there that is value driven. Why pay 40 when you can pay 10? I mean, if there was a movie theater in town that showed movies, same exact movies, for 17 cents, maybe you go there. I mean, why not? It's the same movie, you know? So at the end of the day, that's what happens in the wine industry.
And I was talking to a lot of your employees downstairs, and they say that you think it's really important about giving your customers really good value.
Yeah, I mean, I always train them
And
to
not, like,
down
banging
sale.
them over
Yeah,
the head,
down
yeah.
sale. I mean, if somebody comes in and says, do you have I want to buy a nice wine for $15, I encourage, if we have something that's special in that price range, for them to go to the $13.99 one instead of the $17.99 one. I mean, anytime you can go to any wine store, but if you go to a wine shop that's important enough and understands enough to give you value, I think people appreciate that. I mean, as customers, I think when you go to a store and say, I want to spend 20 and they give you something at 15, you appreciate that.
Definitely.
I do, and so I appreciate that. I'm glad they're saying nice things behind my back. Let's give this a whirl. Let's give it a snippy sniff. What are you getting here?
Apple and pear.
So, okay, anything else? I'm getting a little grapefruit, but very subtle, like grapefruit peel.
You know what? I don't have a good sense of smell, so I'm always really intimidated.
So you're always like apple and pear?
You've noticed that, huh?
Yeah. I notice how it always goes higher. This is aromatically challenged, though. And anything that's AC makes me sad, Mott. Unless it follows with a DC. So,
What do you mean AC?
Aromatically challenged.
Oh.
I mean, it just doesn't have a big bouquet, right? I mean, I'm not getting that much myself, and I usually pick up a lot of stuff. I get a little muted grapefruit. I get a little bit of honey dew coming through a little bit on the nose as well. But I'm not feeling this nose all that much. Let's give it a whirl. You don't
I was told I couldn't spit.
Right.
We did a segment,
Together.
a couple,
And
I was told.
You were like...
Yeah, I was mortified to spit on camera.
I understand.
But then I was told that I was right to be mortified. I should know. You know what? Someone told me that this is wrong.
Okay. Why?
That I should just let it go down my palate. That I'm mixing it with my saliva. That's what I was told.
Really?
Yes.
So
That
you think the
affects taste of
volume
wine.
of... So that person thinks the volume of liquid in your mouth from the wine is offset by the enormous volume of the saliva in your mouth.
That's what I was told.
This is just the problem in the wine industry. There's so many of those rules, like the whole why you hold the stem so you don't warm up the wine. I mean, there's just a million rules. They're all wrong, really. I mean, think about what you
We've
just said.
discussed it, yeah.
I mean, the saliva.
I just
ratio,
thought that was
saliva ratio.
interesting.
Is it a guy or a girl?
Guy.
Saliva ratio guy. You are wrong. I mean, really, think about that. I mean, this is just people trying to think they know something or heard third party from somebody else something and are trying to act cool. They're probably trying to act cool around you.
No, honestly, in all fairness, this person wasn't a wine expert. That's something that they were probably told or taught by someone else.
Was
Do you
this
understand
person?
what I'm
But did that person say no? You shouldn't do that.
No,
like they were trying hard,
no. They
or
were
they
just
were like, I heard that you shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was more
Sorry about
gentle.
Got it.
Yeah,
Sorry about
yeah.
yelling before.
Yeah.
All right, what do you think about this wine? Remember, I did not
Yeah,
make it. I
no.
could care less.
You know.
Meh.
Yeah.
I kind of agree. I mean, this is a very basic white wine. It's fine. I mean, it's not changing my life. If it was $5, I'd probably like it a little bit more. But it really is doing very little. It's very light. It's very crisp, which is fine. The flavor profiles are boring at best.
I'm
This
not
is a
getting
snooze
anything.
fest. This is like watching the World Series the other night at 2 o'clock in the morning. Baseball, you're screwing up. You know what I mean? I mean, it just makes no sense.
Yeah, well, after what happened with the Mets, I don't even want to talk about baseball.
I understand.
so.
I respect that. You just made a lot of friends. A lot of Met fans watch the Thunder Show. I'm down on this wine. I think it's boring. I think it lacks charisma. I think it's a complete waste of time. I would never, ever expect anybody to buy this and be happy about it. It is complete simplicity. You can buy this in a huge-ass jug for $7. This is a major pass for me. I'm going to score this wine 63 points and highly recommend nobody ever buy this wine.
You know, I actually have had wine out of a box that's better than this.
I agree. Let's move on. Phone is ringing, Mott. I love it. All right, now we're getting into Pecorino, and I'm not talking about cheese.
Speaking of which, I visited your cheese
You like
department.
that, right?
downstairs. Oh my gosh. Amazing.
Okay, so this is the Ciavolich Pecorino Aries 2007 Pecorino, a grape that is really common in Marche and in Abruzzo. It's a very interesting little white grape that was almost a stink. I mean, we're rinsing here, so just rinse around your glass. almost completely wiped off the face of the earth. A couple places still had it. It's been reviving a little bit, but still, I mean, this is the first mention. We're 600 episodes in of the Thunder Show of Pecorino. I'm excited about trying it on the show.
Why was it almost extinct?
It just wasn't being used anymore. You know, it's just like, why are some foods that we don't, there's spices we don't use anymore pretty much in the world that we did 100 years ago. It just fell out of favor. Nobody was using it. The press wasn't supporting it. Even like 50, 100 years ago, the local Italian, magazines and newspapers, I assume. And so because of that, it just doesn't hit on the radar. Nobody really knows much about it. And it just flies completely under the radar. It's a $20 bottle of wine for a grape varietal nobody's ever heard of is kind of complicated, I mean, that's kind of awkward. 20 bones, Pecorino, nobody's going to just roll the dice and try that. They're going to buy their Gavi, they're going to buy their Aries, they're going to buy their Pinot Grigio, they're going to buy their Falangina, they're going to buy their Grenache.
Can you say that all again?
Probably. And at the end of the day, they're not going to pick up a Pecorino, and that's why I do the Thunder Show. That's why I'm excited we picked this. You can see there's gorgeous golden color.
I was just going to say,
right?
the color is outstanding.
It's like Hogan's Golden Locks in 1984.
The color is outstanding.
The Hoaxster. It is really gorgeous. Bright yellow. Looks a little like pea, though.
You know what? I was just going to say the same thing.
All right, let's give it a sniffy sniff. Hopefully it doesn't smell like piss.
Yeah.
Oh, and it doesn't. Smell this. Come on, smell this. Now, here's what's classic about wine, right? I mean, I haven't had a lot of Pecorino either lately. It's that's nice, isn't it? I mean, this is a gorgeous nose. I mean, just absolutely beautiful nose.
I'm getting sick. I don't...
What's up, Pops?
Hold on.
Hello.
Just starting.
Just started?
Yeah, halfway home. So, Pecorino, you want some?
Yeah.
Come on in. Big Sasha's going to make another appearance. You're going to get your own glass?
I really don't recognize the scent, especially the end of the... I don't know what you'd call it.
Well, there's a little lemon peel thing going on here. There's a little vanilla coming through.
Maybe that's it.
Like vanilla scented, like almost like a vanilla lemon latte from Starbucks that would cost you $7. This is what I would imagine it smells like. There's also some very, bathroom girly stuff going on here, right?
Okay, maybe that's what I'm picking up, what I recognize
right?
anyway.
I mean,
yes.
It's kind of like soapy, kind of like, hand cream, kind of like things like that.
Vanilla,
going,
lemon,
right?
hand cream.
Right?
Yeah.
It's quite
But
intriguing.
really well made.
Yeah,
not like the
premium
cheap
stuff.
stuff.
No, not
that
what
you
you buy
get.
at Kmart, like the
That's
stuff you
right.
pay like
No.
$87 from.
Well, I wouldn't.
Yeah. So, Dad, you want to try this? We're trying a Pecorino.
I just came from my dentist.
Right.
Hello,
This is
I'm
my
Tara.
dad, Sasha.
Tara, Sasha.
So nice to
Very
meet
nice
you.
to
I've
meet
heard so many nice things of you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Only nice.
Really, from your employees and everything. Wonderful.
So,
I'm psyched.
I told you I'm a Jet fan.
No, I hadn't heard.
Look around.
all right, so let's focus on this wine. Just extremely aromatically sensational. Lots of
It smells creamy.
dynamite. Let's give it a whirl.
It's a little bit too warm, no?
I like room temperature. All whites at room.
From Europe. That's the European.
I'm a European way.
It's a European.
I grew up on drinking soda at room temperature.
That's true.
Ma, it's true.
That's
It's
true.
great
That's
room
right.
temp.
They
My
don't
mom-
have ice.
It's crazy.
In Europe, they don't give.
What do you
you
think?
ice. I think it's delicious. It's full of flavor with a little acid on the finish.
What do you think?
No.
It's. One sec. Like I said, I just came from my
The dentist?
2.5 hours.
So it makes it tough. A little root canal, a little pecorino, right?
Right.
All right, here's what I think is fascinating. To me, first and foremost, if you're a white Burgundy drinker, I think this hits your radar. This has enormous depth and quality on the palate. It's very creamy and extremely full-bodied white wine. I mean, just massively. I gotta tell you something.
like this.
I think this is sensational. I'm completely blown away by this.
98 points.
I
It's like
wasn't sure
crazy.
if I just loved it because of how much I hated the last one.
That's a
Do you know what
valid
I'm
point.
saying?
That's a valid
I wasn't
point.
really sure, but I really like it.
Which one we have? This?
And did you say that was under $20? Or
It's
just
at
right
right
around
on the
20?
it's right on the $20 bill. Ma, I
I'll
gotta
take
tell
a
you something.
case.
You're in, Dad?
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now. To me,
Actually,
this
I'll
is
take more
extremely fascinating. There's a woody component. There's great acid, but it's hidden by the cream and the fruit. I get a lot of pear. I get a lot of apple action. To me, at the end of the day, this is a wine that is extremely stellar, extremely expands your palate. I mean, this is serious juice.
Well, I think it's the balance, like you said, of
Crazy
the cream
balance.
and the fruit and the acidity.
I agree 1,000%.
So
I mean,
I've
this is-
never really had anything like this.
You know, I got to tell you something. I have not come across a lot of white wines that bring this much balance and this much oomph and this much flavor that haven't been $50 Chardonnay wines ever. So I'm extremely high on this Pecorino. I'm going to go 93 plus points. I'm
I
pretty
was
blown
more
away.
generous with 90.
Yeah.
Yeah, 98 was a little high for me, but
Actually, you know, a lot of good white wines we discovered when we were in Italy 3
Yeah,
years ago.
no, I remember.
It was unbelievable.
tons of great stuff. But most of those wines, Dad, were crisper. Valangina, Grenache, crisp, clean seafood wines.
That's
This
like a-
is like steak white wine.
Right.
I mean, this is like something you could have. This is a complete
With a
substitute.
bigger meal.
If you're a Chardonnay fan and you're looking to get away from the oak a little, but you still love that volume, a Pecorino, especially from this producer, is a home run. Let's move
All
on.
right, awesome. So nice to meet you.
All right, let's move into the last wine. This comes from a very small producer that I'm very, very high on, TV Celadon.
I love TV.
I mean, you like that, right? 2006 Grenache Blanc, Celadon Grenache Blanc, which is a varietal that is most indicative to the Rhone Valley and South France. 21 bones from California. This is a wine that I absolutely loved in a prior vintage.
Oh, we're rinsing.
We're rinsing. See what's going on here. This is a really interesting varietal that is starting to make me think could do some serious damage in California, which is the Grenache Blanc. $21 US.
Now, do you think you're getting a better price out of California because of the euro, the price of the euro right now?
No, actually, I think it's still opposite, believe it or not. I think California ones are just grossly overpriced because of the marketing and all the extra pricing that is put into merchandising and wasted airfare, and you know, they're just not run properly, a lot of them, in my opinion. So let's give this a little bit of a sniffy sniff. Do you swish the wine? Why do you swish the wine? I swish the wine. We also have a second camera taping us right now if you're wondering what's going on behind the scenes. Yeah, go ahead. So this sign was just put up. Show him the sign. He throws the sign on me. Why do you swish the wine? In my mouth or in the glass?
In your mouth.
In my mouth. For me.
Because we explain why it wasn't right. Or,
Right.
So
There-
let's explain why. It's
Yeah,
not.
sure. There's a lot of taste buds in your mouth. And the more you can hit, the more subtle flavors you're going to pick up everywhere. It's just giving you a better chance to pick up on flavors that you might not otherwise. I mean, honestly, you'd be fascinated. Some of the things you drink, like Arnold Palmer or root beer or anything else, swish in your mouth. You'll be shocked on some of the subtleties. And they're subtle. This is not like, oh, it went from being like orange juice to tasting like apple juice. They're subtle, but you absolutely pick up more on the flavor profile if you get into more parts of your mouth. No
Have
question
you
about
done
it.
that?
Oh, I do it with I swish my mouth with water, milk. I mean, it's just a natural habit. All right, let's get into this. Grenache Blanc
That I'd like
from
to see.
Clarksburg, which is quite interesting. Santa Maria, California area. Let's give this a little bit of a sniffy sniff.
Also enjoy the smell. Also
Pretty
creamy.
nose. I agree. There's a creaminess coming through. There's also a bluestone kind of flinty kind of thing going on, which I like quite a bit.
Bluestone flint. What does that smell like?
Chalky,
okay,
rocky,
okay, yeah, I get that.
oceany.
Oh, yeah. See,
I also get a little pineapple, little dull pineapple thing going
I
on.
don't get the pineapple, but I definitely get the ocean.
You do, right? If you there's a little bit of that.
Maybe that's just wishful thinking, but
Possibly. Let's give it a whirl.
this is delicious.
You like this, right? This is really good. I think the residual sugar is probably appealing to you because I wouldn't call it sweet. Again, it's just a fruitiness. Gorgeous guava and papaya. Exotic flavors are really coming through on the back end of this mouth for me. How about
You
for
see,
you?
I'm so envious because I can never describe or pick up those exact.
What are you getting there? I get a little honeycomb.
I
as well.
do. I was going to say
Yeah.
I get like a honey, vanilla, creamy, but way different creamy from
No
the
question.
last wine that we
This is
tasted, the
more like
Pecorino.
to break down the creaminess aspect. This is like milkshake, and that's more like heavy cream. Like, do you know what I
Yes.
mean on that? And the reason I go milkshake here is there is even a little bit of that sweetness. What do you think, Matt?
I didn't like it.
Did not like it. Tell me why.
I didn't like the flavor profile.
Meaning, like, what does anything
Just the
stand out?
flavors that came across the wine. Just the way it just combined.
Do you like Do you like exotic fruit like papaya and guava?
Yes. Yeah.
God, this tastes so tropical to me. You know what this reminds me of? And when it's light like this, Capri Sun. That's what this tastes like. Do you remember Capri Suns? Those things were awesome, and they were clear. I was always fascinated by that. They're like the first thing that was like clear in the pouch. I was like, this is amazing, America. God bless. Mwah. You know, still kind of Russian at that point.
Yeah, my kids have the Capri Suns.
And they like them?
Yeah, they do. You know, I try to keep them away from juice.
Water?
Yeah, well, yeah, water, milk, seltzer,
I understand.
sparkling water.
What do you think about this wine
I really like this wine a lot.
compared to the last one? Your
I know
palate, your palate.
I know there's something special about the last wine.
But you like this better.
I do. No, I know. I
You
think
like the
the
last
other.
one
I
better.
think I like the last
Yeah.
one better. They're different.
To me, this has a lot of white flowers going on as well. With this guava, there's a little bit of smokiness too. A little smoke,
It's
burnt
very
wood.
smoky.
You guys both shook your head on that. So, Vaynerchuk are watching. It's smoky. I really like this though. The oak does a great job. That's the smokiness on this wine.
I was going to say it reminds me of a Chardonnay I used to drink.
It has a Chardonnay tendency, but it's not buttery and as oaky. It doesn't. To me, this has much more tropical fruit than the apple pear thing you've seen in Chardonnays. But at the end of the day, I like this a lot. I'm gonna go 91 plus points for this. I mean, to me, this is a big standout episode. You know, it's fun to have guests and we're just kind of hanging out. But to me, 2 white wines in a $20 price range at this scoring. You know, Ma, you know how I score. I mean, this is pretty exciting. I mean, the last wine blows me away. And this Clarendon, I think, is going to be really popular with a lot of people.
I'm really surprised because I obviously do watch your show.
Mm-hmm.
I can't catch it every day, but for you to give 2 90s to it.
Yeah, no.
To
have such a bad
I'm
wine to
excited.
start it.
I'm excited.
I'm
Yeah, I
excited
was
too.
nervous. I was like, oh, this is going to be like a total flopper. But I guess that's good if, you're
It
educating
is.
the people.
It is
but,
what it is. Tara, question of the day. You get to ask it to the Vaynerchuks. Go.
Oh.
Anything you
so-
want.
I'm totally put
It doesn't have to
on
be
the
a wine
spot.
question. It could be about life. It could be about fashion. It could be about food. But you, Tara, have to ask the Vaynerchuks the question of the day. And then they'll answer it.
Okay, this is awesome. Will the Mets make it to the playoffs next year?
That is a tremendous question.
And, a sidebar,
Oh.
what do you think about Jerry Manuel? That's what I want to know.
You're a pretty hardcore Met fan.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
Hardcore. I was at every single playoff game, every World Series game in 1986.
86.
Yes.
You're hardcore.
I was hardcore. In the pouring rain,
I love it.
beating Mike Scott. That was my favorite.
Wow, she just dropped Mike Scott.
Loved it.
Big game
Loved it.
in Houston. Well, they didn't
No.
beat Mike Scott. Didn't get to Mike Scott. Because you lost to Mike Scott twice in that series.
I know, but we beat him.
And he was a former Met, too.
Yes, he was.
I understand. You, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world, whether they like it or not. Thanks for being here.
No problem, but how do you feel about getting the corks thrown at you every day?
He knows I'm not throwing it at him. I'm throwing it at the Vayner Nation.
Ah, okay. Thanks for having me.